Then if we talk about line 8, line 8 is kind of it's kind of like a parasite route. It feeds off other routes, and it's not a single route by itself. It only has, I think, it only has 2 stations that are by itself, while the rest it feeds off other routes. It starts here at this depot, which was originally a turning point, and it follows line 6 most of the way, goes through there, stops there, follows there, and then it branches off here. While line 6 goes down south of the city, line 8 branches off, goes on its single station, which is here and here. And it goes here where it joins line 4, I think this is. Line 4. We still need to talk about line 4, but I think line 4 is the... Nope, that's... No, line 5. No, sorry, I'm getting confused with the tram one. Line... Yeah, line 5. We need to still talk about line 5. Anyway, so line 8 comes into there, meets with line 5, and it feeds line 5, and line 5 feeds line 8. It's quite a really big network. You see 175 passengers here, and then they get dropped off for line 5, and line 5 drops off its passengers at its last stop for line 8. Line 5 was also just kind of a parasite route, which starts from there, kind of goes through the middle of this middle island, which I built my original first line, my first original bus line at. Goes down, goes through, connects there, and goes there, and the turning point of it is there as well. So I think that's pretty much it about the metros. The metros are doing so well. You do not understand. Metros are probably the best efficient thing. You can see here how much money I'm making. Even with infinite money, you can just test around to actually see which mode of transport is the most efficient. And I have to say, once you get your city going, metros are the way. First trams, I would say first trams are the way, because you can see trams are second. It's because I haven't made that many trams. But if I made more trams, trams would probably be first. But if you make a lot of metros and you invest a lot of money into metros, metros will be the ones that will be making the most money by far, because they can carry the most people, they're the most efficient, they break down the least. And that's also one thing, metros last so long. Buses break down, water buses break down. Trams, they're alright, but they can still break down a lot more than metros can. So metros are probably the most efficient type of transport, and they're just making a lot of money. Okay, then to talk about this video, if you kind of realize, it's just literally me talking about what I've done since the last time, because I've been editing this map off video. And yeah, it's been pretty fun to do. So anyway, the next thing is at this central kind of station, where we had the kind of 3 lines that alternate through there, we have 2 new tram lines that I added that kind of zigzag over these nice little footpath bridges. And the thing I like about these footpaths is that trams can go on them while no other mode of transport can. So there's actually no traffic on them or whatsoever. It's just the trams themselves, and people can walk on the sidewalks if you build the ones with the actual sidewalk. So let's have a look at the 2 new tram routes. I think line 7 and line 6. Right. One starts initially down here where this main transport hub brings a lot of passengers in, takes a lot of passengers back out. It starts there, kind of goes round, and then to the central point where the big station is, where all the lines kind of meet, and then it kind of ovals around here through this little estate. I could have made it bigger, but it kind of ovals. It doesn't have many stops, but it collects a lot of passengers and comes back around and loops back around, goes back to the central hub. The next line starts up here where the trolley bus here for this little suburbia area that goes to the metro, it starts there, kind of goes down this nice long road, goes around, loops around here, drops off, picks up a lot of passengers, and then goes around down here and loops around here. So I've kind of made a kind of a figure of 8 route, well, 2 routes that make a figure of 8. One that goes diagonally from here to here, and then one that goes diagonally from here down to here. So it's pretty good. They do feed a lot of people to the metros, and the metros feed a lot of people to the actual trams. So those 2 routes I think were a really good investment to do. I think overall, let me just look there. I think overall, that's pretty much what I've done. city's getting bigger. As you can see here, my total reputation is 89%, which is pretty high. As I have infinite money, obviously I can buy all the really expensive stops and that, but it's just really good to pay on infinite money so you can really get a feel of what you can actually get to and whatever when you're making a lot of money. And just try out different things. I'm really just trying out different things with this game. So yeah, and I just like observing sometimes, just going zooming in and actually observing how people travel and whatever. It's pretty cool to do because the first game kind of didn't have the people weren't really that kind of individual, and in this game they're all individual. It's pretty cool, really nicely animated. So yeah, this is the kind of main station here I like to watch. It gets pretty busy. And 9-7, yeah, 9-7 really just carries people. 9-7 is probably one of the biggest routes because it goes from here, kind of zigzags around, then kind of loops around, and then swirls around, goes down, and then goes over. It covers probably most of the city except for the south part. That's why I connect. That's why I connected to some other metros. But what I'm thinking of doing maybe is doing an orbital metro, which goes all around the city. So it probably starts around here, then goes literally follows the same track as that maybe, or even has an individual track around here, then goes all around. But that maybe just to test how an orbital will actually work. Other than that, that's pretty much probably what I've done so far with this Sandbox map. Yeah. You guys can suggest. You can actually tell me what to do or whatever. You can tell me like if you want, if I should add something somewhere, because I don't really mind. It's much as your map as mine, because I'm making this and showing it to you, and I don't mind having suggestions. I will start some other maps afresh, so we can I can really get the suggestions going, and people can say, okay, maybe you can start by building something there and then, etc. But overall, this city is doing really well. You can see that a lot this tram, this tram line 7, literally I need to buy some more vehicles for it because it literally runs out like a bitch, so I buy 3 more for it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That should be fine for it. It gets pretty busy. I can see 58 people there, 59 people waiting there. That is pretty good, and that takes them down to where they need to be. Yeah. Again, this game just looks amazing. I really just love how this game looks. It's such an improvement from the first game. There's obviously some stuff from the first game that I wish was in here. One thing I really like, I still don't get, is that the amount of vehicles that they released with this game is so small. Like, if you didn't pre-order this game, you would have had 1 metro train, and that to me would have been so boring, because you're just going to build a metro and you're not going to really have a variety of different trains. Like, while in Cities in Motion 1, like, even though there was quite a lot of DLC or whatever, I bought most of the DLC, so at the end, like near to the end, I had so many different types of trains that I could literally assign a different type of train to a different route. So yeah, we actually had a problem down here. Here gets a little bit clogged up with boats, even though I've made 2 separate terminals for them. It kind of still gets clogged up. The water buses, I don't know. The water buses in this game are a bit, they have a mind of their own, but they're doing well. I don't know. I don't think this line 2, no, not this line 2. This line 3 was a good idea. Because even though it has a lot of passengers, don't get me wrong, it gets a lot of passengers. Like, look here, it's really getting packed because it gets fed by this bus line that goes all the way down south and then comes all the way up here to feed it. Yeah, what I was maybe also thinking is I probably should, when I'm doing, as you can see with this route, it goes from here, it stops there, it stops here, and then it stops here finally, and then it goes back here, and it stops at the same stop each time it goes back and forward, so it kind of can clog up. What I was maybe thinking is I probably should, from now on, when I do more water buses, and when I have, like, say, instead of having like a cycle where I have a kind of like an oval orbital water bus, so say a bus from this island to this stop into this island, so it would just go in a circle, while this kind of line isn't going in a circle, it's going in a straight line then back down the straight line. So that means that you're going to have boats waiting on another boat that's going back up the line. So I was thinking maybe from now on I probably will build two water bus, probably like 2 water bus stations, piers, next to each other, because it would just make more sense. One would stop at the one that's on the return, and one would stop to the one that's going to the actual destination, instead of having one pier serving 2 destinations, because it would get crowded. But yeah, I'm sorry this video was pretty long about me explaining stuff, but it was kind of, I thought it was important if I explained to you guys what I've been doing, instead of just like going into it not saying anything. And I think I've enjoyed explaining what I've been doing with the lines and what I've been adding, etc. This trolley bus line needs more trolley buses. Let's just buy some. Thing is, like, if you tend to get say depots saying, oh, we're running out of vehicles or whatever, it's not the fact that you don't have enough vehicles, it's literally because vehicles aren't returning on time back to the depot to go back onto their shift. Because automatically what the computer thinks is that, okay, it estimates how many vehicles we need for a route, and then it would say that, and then you buy that amount of vehicles that it recommends you to buy, and then it doesn't take into account of traffic. And that's kind of in real life. In real life, they average how many vehicles are needed per route, and then they don't include in the initial calculation about traffic. And then when traffic occurs, maybe initially when you put a route, there's no traffic, but then when you put a route in, there will be traffic. And then over the time when that traffic develops, you have to include that traffic is going to be a problem. So you add more buses, you add more trains, you add more trams to your fleet, so it can cope with the amount of vehicles that need to be out. You know what I mean? Also, what I tend to do is I tend to see these vehicles in condition that are poor. I just tend to sell them and then go back to the thing and just say buy one more to replace it. Because when you have a lot of vehicles, and when they don't have enough time to go back to the depot and repair itself, unless it's like a late at night where there's not a lot of vehicles on shift, that's the only time when vehicles can repair. So if it's kind of going really busy and going well, and you have enough money, just sell the vehicle, buy a new one. It's much more worth it than actually waiting for the vehicle to get back to the depot, because vehicles drive slower when they're broken down and when they're in poor condition and they cause smoke. The animation shows smoke. Do I have a vehicle that is actually broken? I still think the only one I actually sold that was. But anyway, these yellow ones are kind of like in poor condition. But this one still hasn't had smoke. This one's like 13%. So when that one starts smoking, it will start driving slower and cause problems. But instead, I like how in in this game that they actually don't stop at a stop and break down like in the first game, where it would cause a huge backlog of traffic, and you would release all the passengers angry, and they don't. The passengers that are angry and get out of the broken vehicle tend not to go back to the stop, so you lose on profit, and you lose customers, and you lose satisfaction, whatever, reputation. So yeah, as you can see, this place is pretty busy. These trams really do feed in a lot of people, and the metro is feeding a lot of people for trams. So yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video now, and we'll see you in the next one, my people. I will probably start doing some other videos on other maps. I'll continue with this map as well, but I'll also start doing another map, other maps and stuff, custom maps if you want them. But anyway, this video was basically just to explain what I've been doing on this map, because there was a lot to explain, and just my thoughts and things with Cities in Motion and 2 in general. But I promise next time when I go back to this map, I'll be adding some more stuff and, you know, doing so. But anyway, actually, before we go, just to check that. Oh no, this vehicle's in poor condition, but it's actually not smoking yet. Anyway, normally it's just probably below 5% or something gonna start smoking and good. So normally I would sell that and whatever, and then it'd be finished. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you watched this far into the video, I know it's been a ranting kind of video, a kind of long discussion video, because I was just trying to explain things. But I mean, well, when I just speak and explain, because obviously, like, there's no point in me just going into a video and me just doing things without explaining, because you won't get anything. Anyway, I will see you in another video. Remember, feedback or whatever, what you want to see with Cities in Motion or any other game, tell me in the comments below. If you want to subscribe or haven't subscribed, look into it. Maybe if you want to subscribe to me, if you want to keep up to myself. I only really ask people to subscribe if you actually like what I want to do and you want to keep up with my videos. It's free. It will never be paid. Even though YouTube have done something where there's a scheme where you can make it like a subscription if you want to pay to a YouTuber to support them. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.